say hello to the new SwimOutlet.com. Enhanced navigation, larger, higher resolution imagery, more filtering and search capability so you can find what you need faster. As always, low price guarantee and free shipping on $49. The redesigned SwimOutlet.com. Dive in, say hi.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Wednesday, April 23rd, 2014. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Last weekend at the NASA Showcase Classic in Clearwater, Florida, 12-year-old Vinny Marciano of the Morris County Swim Club was one of the stars of the meet, setting 5 national age group records in butterfly, backstroke, and freestyle events. Joining me today in the Vinnies Monitor will be Morris County head coach Ledgin, who has been working with the team for almost 3 years. The team continues to grow under his leadership, which makes for very busy days, but Coach Al has taken the time to join us now via Skype from New Jersey. Coach, it's great to see you. How are you today?
Real well, Jeff. How about yourself?
I can't complain, really. You just got back from Florida. You're back in New Jersey. I'm sure you would have liked to have stayed a few more days in the sun.
It was one of those, well, there wasn't a whole lot of sun, actually, but it was one of those weeks where it could have gone on forever. One of those meets that I wouldn't have minded being there another couple days.
Yeah, you could have just continued the momentum that you guys had. A great week in Clearwater. As we said, 5 national records from Vinny, a bunch of personal bests from your other swimmers. You had a pretty small team, as I understand, just 8 swimmers?
That's correct. This is our first time attending the showcase meet, and we had about 20 swimmers qualify for the meet, but we decided kind of late to attend. And as it turns out, we ended up with 4 11-12 girls and 4 11-12 boys, which made it an easy meet for me in terms of coaching, only having to worry about one pool and that kind of thing. But hopefully in the future we'll be able to take more swimmers with us.
So you say it was a last-minute decision to attend the meet. What was it about it that made you think that this would be a good place to go?
Well, primarily giving Vinny the opportunity to have a last meet prior to his birthday. He'll be turning 13 on May 4th. May 5th, I'm sorry, and May 5th in a couple weeks. So we thought it was a good opportunity for him to have that chance, and for the other swimmers to get the opportunity. We don't travel a whole lot as a team and stuff, and I just thought it would be a good opportunity. Oh, and the main reason we decided to do it was because it ended up falling on spring break week this week.
Yeah, that definitely makes it great.
Which made a big difference for a number of the swimmers.
Well, as we said, Vinny had a great meet, 5 national age group records. I won't list all the times here. They're on our website, swimmingworld.com. But that 21:78 in the 50 free really surprised me. Of his 5 records, which one was the best in your eyes?
The best had to be the 100 backstroke, the 51:40 in the 100 backstroke. But the 50 free and the 50 fly were probably the most surprising.
Why were they surprising for you?
They just seemed to be unreachable times. I think, you talk to many coaches and swimming people, and those were times that many people thought would never be reached. I mean, a lot of people felt that way. Vinny had gone 22-6 at our state meet, but was disqualified on a false start. So we knew he had a little bit more in him, but to go under 22, I really didn't expect that.
Well, before this meet, we had been following him obviously as a backstroker. Back in March, we were writing about his duels with Destin Lasco to get those backstroke records, and here now he's got Freestyling Butterfly records. Has he really been making a focus lately on Freestyling Butterfly, or has he always been that way and is just now coming out to the fore?
They've been developing. They've been developing along the way. Vinny, in addition to working with me, he also works on technique a couple times a week with Coach Crystal Hoffman at one of our satellite sites. So they have been working really hard on both on this technique as well as the underwaters and stuff, which were really good in a couple of those swims. The 50 free, 50 fly, and 100 back particularly is underwater were really good.
When you and Vinny sit down to talk about goals for the season, does the conversation start with wanting to break national records?
Pretty much. I mean, at this point, pretty much. I mean, it starts with state records, but that's the general focus. Now it's starting to turn more towards junior national qualifying times and things like that. He swam our Eastern Sectional, Eastern Sectional long course meet up in Buffalo 2 weeks after JO's. And he went minute point through 33 in the 100-meter backstroke there. And so he's starting to, think more in terms of the senior level competition and doing some things beyond the age group level.
Historically, you look at the history of swimmers who were setting national age group records at 11, 12, 13 years old. Most of the time they aren't having the careers that they really could when they are 18, 19, 20. They have a little trouble keeping that level of endurance. Mostly just, growth spurts happen earlier, whatnot. And it seems to be that's really changing lately. How are you working with Vinny now to make sure that he has a career that's going to last for another 10, 15 years?
Well, I think it would simply come down to continuing to have his training progress. Right now he's still only swimming he swims 4 to 5, I'd say 4 to 6 days a week, depending on, what's going on. He's only swimming about 4,000 to 5,000 meters a day. We swim short course meters pretty much year round. Just being able to continue to, number one, provide him with quality, swimmers to train with in practice. At this point, we only have a couple boys who are able to race with them in practice per se. But we want to continue to do that and just keep his the intensity of his workouts increasing, and at the same time continuing to improve his technique and have him continue to progress. We like to focus more on the Ryan Murphys and the swimmers who had the records when they were 11, 12, and continue to show their stuff as you just mentioned. But it's just a matter of continuing to provide them with more challenges and give them the right kind of competitive opportunities.
You've been a coach for many years. What makes Vinny stand out for you among all the swimmers that you've worked with?
Well, his physical assets are relatively obvious. I mean, he's close to 6 feet tall as a 12-year-old, and just had he's got long arms and powerful legs, and he works hard for the most part, and he enjoys what he's doing.
Well, Morris County Swim Club, obviously, it looks like you enjoy what you're doing. This team looks like it's growing exponentially. You have advertisements on your website calling for coaches to help fill all these practices that you keep adding onto your schedule. How many swimmers are part of Morris County right now?
Right now, we serve a few over 400 swimmers. We operate out of three different sites in the winter, and we're adding we may be adding another site during the summer. We have it's largely a participation program. We have of the 400 swimmers, probably between 150 and 175 will actually compete. The rest are merely coming to practice on a regular basis, sometimes once or twice a week, sometimes more often. But the core group, we have a good core group that's now practicing on a regular, 4 to 5 times a week. We do offer 7 days a week of practice at 2 different facilities and 5 days at the third. So we're offering a lot of opportunities. A lot of our kids still participate in other sports. Vinny was still playing basketball, youth basketball until this year. We have a lot of swimmers that still participate in other activities, and and still are able to achieve at a relatively high level with their swimming.
I would imagine that's something you encourage, to get them involved in other sports and not just be only a swimmer.
Pretty much. I mean, it gets to a point where we prefer to have them doing more swimming, than other sports. But I have a daughter. I have a daughter myself who swims for St. Andrews Swimming down in Boca Raton, Florida, and she's in high school. She's going to be a senior in high school. She's near sectional level swimmer. She still plays high school softball and stuff like that. I think that the more well-rounded you keep your athletes, the more potential they have for development as they get older.
Yeah, and definitely probably avoid burnout from any particular sport.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I know you're a busy guy. You got to get to the next practice here, but before we go, we'll submit you to our final 5. These are 5 questions that we ask every guest on the Morning Swim Show. First question is, if you could change the order of strokes in the individual medley, how would you change it?
I'd get rid of breaststroke.
Can't get rid of any stroke. You got to keep all 4.
I would say I would swim it like a medley relay, back breast fly free.
Okay. Other than coaching, what's a career or job you would most like to try?
Career or job that I'd like to try? Boy, you know what? I've never really even thought about that. I wouldn't mind being a roadie for a rock and roll band.
That would be fun. That would definitely. You'd be on the road a lot, but that's kind of what a roadie is. On the flip side of that, what's a career or job you would not like to try?
Anything where I had to wear a suit to work.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm wearing one now, and it's probably the only downside of the show, but I enjoy everything else of it. What's a rule in the swimming rule book that you would like to change or add?
A rule I'd like to change or add. I have a real problem with the backstroke finish rules the way they exist currently. It's really hard to figure out what you're supposed to do with that.
Yeah, maybe just more clarification.
Exactly.
All right, last question for you, Coach. Where would you like to go for vacation?
I've only been anywhere once, and I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind going back to Negril in Jamaica.
Okay, Jamaica is a great place. I've heard many people say it's definitely one of the highlights in the world, so hopefully you get to go back soon.
Hope so.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on a great meet in Florida, and we're looking forward to many more, not just from Vinny, but from the rest of your team.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
All right, so that's going to do it for today's edition of the Morning Swim Show. Be sure to stay with swimmingworld.com for the latest news in aquatic sports, and keep track of us on social media on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.